Evening all. Another week has gone by. How are you all? Glad to see you all here. Donald and Francine and Julie and Karen and who else is here? Yvonne, hi. And I think I got Verby. How are you? Okay, gang. Donald, I thought Thanksgiving was on the 28th. Hi, Denise. But obviously everyone's celebrating it early. I like to think of it as saying thank you to life, to all the wonderful gifts that we have, all the beauty in life. So, I want to continue with a bit of what we were talking about last week in regards to a new renaissance that is a birth of another level of evolution of mankind. And we were talking about how energy has become one of the keynotes. And not just the energy that keeps your house warm or your electricity and things like that, but actually your inner world is becoming important. And that is important because it's where balance is, where the art of living is, where creativity lies. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. And what, in contemplating it over the week, it came to me that actually we need to talk about our five senses. And it's, we know how all about them on one level. There's taste and seeing and hearing and feeling and what am I missing? Seeing, smelling, taste, hearing, and feeling. Am I repeating something? Anyway, people, most of the time we use our senses to interpret and feel the world all around us. And they have another purpose. They have a purpose to be doorways to the invisible aspect of the art of living in about creativity. And it's up to that. If you don't open that door, if you don't realize this, then the doorway to the highest potential of what human beings are doesn't really open. And you stay in a point of gratification or stimulation on the physical plane and not within the highest aspect of what our possibilities are. So, and that goes for healing. And I don't know if you've noticed, there's an enormous amount of tension flying around the world right now. And as we said last week, this is an indication of a new renaissance, an evolution, not a breaking down, but a breaking through. That our balance, even with the earth, has to come from a balance of our inner world with our outer world. And certainly my focus is to come from the reality of my inner world, and that whatever I do with my thoughts, actions, words, creativity is based on bringing the highest into form so that everyone sees that. It first starts with me, of course, and that's taken me a while to come to that realization, how important it is. And that's where peace lies. If we're going to talk about peace, we have to find a way to spend time with our inner world a little bit more. And we don't do that enough. We're too out there. And then what happens is that we get overstimulated with too much information. There's like 2 million messages that come to our brain every second. And we can't handle that. We can't digest that. So the senses actually is our filtering mechanism. It slows it down. It only, maybe you can take on 7 ideas. And even then, that's probably overwhelmed time. And we have to, and we struggle to try to figure it out. And depending on what philosophies you have, or what beliefs, or what hurts, or perceptions, what comes through to you in, say, those 7 ideas will be, in a way, an illusion, because it's not completely the whole aspect of what is coming to you. So we create stories. And if you're going to evolve and start being open more and find the balance between the inner and the outer, then you need to, what can I say? Allow yourself to evolve. And to do that, you have to learn to become the controller of your thoughts, not let them dominate you. But in the meantime, does anyone want to have a group healing this week? Burpee, how are you? Do you need to continue? Donald, I've been giving you daily healings. You have a long-term process to work through, but you've got a great heart. So I'm just looking at some messages now. Let me see, I don't want to lose everyone. So, hi Tim, hi Stefan. I'm baking pump. Oh, I love it, Karen. Hang on, I'm going to cough. Sorry. Had a drink somewhere. I wish I lived closer. I'd love to have some pumpkin pie. Hi, Drew. Burpee says she's all right, thanks. No Thanksgiving here in Finland, but I'm always giving thanks. Gratitude is really important. I've started a practice to, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is gratitude. I am grateful. And it starts to change things quite a bit. Everyone saying hello. Hi, Marianne. Yvonne loves the topics. Well, most of my senses aren't working properly at the moment. I'm laying flat with COVID. Oh dear. Usually it's coming on. Drew would like a healing with limited in hospital with asthma attacks. Okay, I'm going to write this down. Just a minute. So, are you still in the hospital, Drew? How are you feeling? Drew. Asthma. Is this a new experience for you, Drew? Denise. Positivity. It's stressful at the moment. Can you tell me more, Denise? Thank you, Stefan. It is so true. The whole thing of working with our senses, going inwards, there's such potential within our senses. There's a whole, where have you gone? Here. I have this pamphlet. Let me show you. Wherever it's gone, here I am. Here it is. And it says the levels at which each sense has. And I tried to put it on, but my laptop is not receiving my emails. So before we go on to this, I want to just finish with Denise. So are you still in the hospital? That's what I'd like to know. And Denise, if you could, stressful work, about to be signed off sick. It's not like me to get like this. Okay, that's cool. Denise, did you see the email of the portrait I did, the drawing I did of your wonderful tiger? I'll give you some. I hope you're getting well soon. Huh. Wonderful chocolate, hot chocolate. Yes, Burpee, I wanted to know how you were doing. You did hear your name. So Drew's at home. How are you feeling now? Good. I love it. It turned out really good. Okay, so we've got 2 people. Unless, Yvonne, do you want something? Because didn't you say you had COVID right now? We can do 3 people. No worries, Jenny. Okay, Yvonne, do you want to have a healing this week? Just let me know. Okay, so Yvonne, would you mind telling me more of the COVID symptoms you have? Thank you, Julie. I am really, really, really enjoying doing them. I have to say, I've done one that's a secret for a girlfriend's husband's birthday. And it turned out really well, but I can't show anybody yet. Hey, all right. Burpee will put you down for anxiety. Okay, that's that. I just want to say a bit more about the subject of the senses this week before we start, if that's okay with everyone. So, the senses do evolve. And when you start to open up to realizing that they're there as a filter, but they also open the doorway to your higher self to, and they monitor it so that the energy isn't too overpowering. But some people will push it further. So you either get people that are highly impressionable to everything that's around them, and that they're born hypersensitive, and that's another path that they have to learn how to monitor this energy that's coming in and balance. Verbi will include you in it today. I don't mind going over a bit. So I think this is such an important subject. So the first sense, which is the hearing, and I'll read from this. It starts with your physical hearing when you're just using it to interpret the outside of your world. But then as it evolves and you start to open up to that as a realization, working with them, opening your doorways through purifying your thoughts and what you eat, and create a more balanced environment. When you're working more and more to have the balance between the inner and the outer, then the next stage will be clairaudience. Your hearing will become finer, and you can feel another dimension of maybe it isn't that you will hear more on the outside level, but you might hear the feeling of a bird. It's you'll start to know it. And some of these, each person has some that are more focused for you, and you'll be able to find more your soul doorways through contemplating this. And it goes all the way to higher clairaudience and beatitude, so that the second sense, touch or feeling, and both hearing and touch are the higher aspects of, because the other ones are lower evolving. These come a bit later when you're more committed to finding the balance between the inner and the outer. So if we go to touch or feeling, there's physical touch, obviously, something called psychometry, planetary psychometry, and healing, and active service. So the psychometry, I believe, is when you can hold something in a rock. I've had a healer that I worked with who could hold a rock and tell you the history of it. And you can also sense time in a different way. So the third sense is sight. And that starts with physical sight, but then you'll have clairvoyance, and you'll have higher clairvoyance, divine vision, realization, so that you know that 75% of our bodily perceptions comes into our eyes. Everything, all the senses accumulate in the eyesight. And you know that there's this saying that the eyes are the windows to the soul. So that might be why, because everything comes mainly in through the sights, going inwards and going outwards. Then there's taste. So there's your physical taste. The imagination, believe it or not, is with your taste. Imagine eating an apple and thinking, and your imagination gets stimulated. It's quite sweet. Sweet, yes. Discrimination, intuition, and perfection comes in through taste. And smell is your physical smell. And believe it or not, emotional idealism and spiritual discernment, idealism, and all knowledge comes in through smell. But again, they all sort of come into your physical sight. Fascinating. So I am just going to see what Yvonne said, and then we can start. So Yvonne says the fever is gone. She's weak. And my messages keeps flipping. Headaches, the reason is exhaustion, I think. So I got infected to force me to rest. I'm fighting for my health in better situation since years. Lost family. A lot of friends cause it all depended on that I did care for them. It's really a challenge to build up everything new. Yeah, because you moved out of England, didn't you? So Denise says she feels that sight is the most important sense. I wouldn't want to lose any of my senses, but if I did, sight would be the worst. You know, that's what I was experiencing with my eyesight, my double vision that I had. Fortunately, I had the left eye, but it was having a hard time dealing with all of it. But what I discovered then was that even though the right eye was not working, I realized that generally my right eye is the one that goes in, and my left eye is the one that's working on out here. And when this was gone, this eye, I was able to bring in this and go through the left eye. It was a realization that helped me feel a little bit better, but the left eye was not a happy budgie. So Jenny's saying that there are new water bottles coming with the smell of lemon to make you think you're drinking it, or something like that. There. Craig Art. Helen Keller said her deafness was worse because we lose all contact with communication with others. Interesting, because there was a woman, Orosoma, the woman that made Orosoma was blind. And the deafness would be interesting not to have that ability. But what did it say? That's hearing. Physical hearing, clairaudience, higher clairaudience, compensation of 4 sounds, and beatitude. The Orosoma lady, though she's blind, she could see colors, and she could feel the vibration of them, hands. And so she has a whole load of colors and things that you can get to look and vibrate with and have in your house. I don't remember her name. But I used to have all these colored bottles all around in the windows. Now I've moved on to having that within me, so I can go places without having colored bottles everywhere. But that was a stage. Air up or something. There are a few water. Well, people, shall we start the healings? And as usual, when we're doing this, perhaps we could not thanks so much for the CC. It's nice to be included. No problem, Craig. So, as we have done before, so Yvonne said, well, I think it depends on personality, which sense everyone thinks to be the most important one. Since I've worked a lot with blind people, I would think nobody can make you feel and see if you couldn't hear. An interesting thought, that's for sure, Yvonne. But maybe you gravitate to other senses, because there's a book called, oh my goodness. Anyway, there's a situation called synesthesia, where you can, when you're first born, all the senses are together, and then they start to separate out. And it's there's this man that he'd always say when he was cooking, I didn't want it to sound like that. And the psychologist heard him saying that at our dinner party. And so she started to work with him and discovered the fact that when you're meditating, your senses all come together. So if you're missing one, it would be a matter of, can you shift your way of interpreting things to the other senses? We're not trained to do that. Unless you're very fortunate to meet a teacher that could help you with it. But it's, if you can't hear, you'd have to start feeling vibrations. I would imagine. Anyway, let's start with our healing tonight, and we'll begin with Drew, who's been in hospital with asthma, but she's home now. So let's not do any typing, commenting, please, and let's all focus together to help these people. So if you'll, I know what I'm going to do. 1 second. This might help us focus ourselves first. So let's focus on the rose, and we'll develop our sense of all our senses first. So be very still, sit comfortably, and if you're lying down, just be very relaxed. That's okay as well. So let's focus on the rose. And first, see the color. Allow this pink, take the pink into your being. So we're going to go from the physical rose and take it within, opening the doorway to its tenderness, the delicate petals, and on the breath, breathing in, take the pink color within and allow it to go through your entire body, relaxing, nurturing, bringing love. Spread it all around on your in-breath and release, but take it in again. Spread it around and release. Now, can you hear or feel or smell its fragrance? Take a little time and allow the fragrance of the rose to gently, sweetly come within. And perhaps a wonderful moment in the past you've had holding a rose, feeling the petals, allowing the smell coming, the fragrance. Take it to your heart center and be still in the silence of this moment. Breathe in and hold it and relax. Breathe in, hold it and relax. And breathe in, hold it and relax. Now let's take this wonderful feeling and imagine Drew. Place her within this pink rose of love. And from the top of her head, take the candle of light down vertically to the bottom of her feet. And bring it back up to her heart center and out horizontally in either direction, and come back with the light to the heart and back to her crown center, top of her head, and create a circle of protection all the way around her body, the bottom of her feet, all the way back around up to the top of her head. What's important with asthma is to focus on her nervous system. So let's speak to her nervous system. Let's speak to the soul, heart, mind, and body of Drew's nervous system. We all love her nervous system, and Drew loves her nervous system. And let's tell her nervous system it has the power. It has the power to be calm, to be the captain of the ship, to hold the balance steady. And let's put in a deep sapphire blue color into her nervous system, going down her spine as well, bringing calm and balance. And I want to go to her solar plexus, and we want to put the Tibetan wheel that I was talking about last week. If you remember, it's like a circle of spokes, like a bicycle wheel, with little mercury bright colored flames. And within that circle, place the deep, deep blue of the evening, and allow the circle of flames to circle round and round. And let's do it 13 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and do this equilateral sign of the cross in a circle of light over her solar plexus. And imagine you've just placed your hand gently on that area. And Denise, Drew, put both your hands on your solar plexus. And allow a deep blue to come from the center of your hands into the solar plexus. Be still. So let's move our hands up to her heart center. And place the rose there. And do the sign of the cross and circle of light over her heart center. And breathe in the color, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. And breathe in, and hold it, and release. Let's move our hands down to just below her navel, to her basin, her sacral center. We're going to do the sign of the cross of light and circle there. And imagine spring green and sapphire blue within the circle. And breathe in and hold it and release. Denise, be calm. But Drew, if you're sitting, can you do a gentle rocking motion, holding your hands over your sacral center? Let's all send peace and love. And we're rocking with Drew, gently. Held by our mother's love. And she's singing, humming. I love you, Drew. Be calm. Let's imagine a very large bell, silver bell, with Drew within it, with a floor, silver on the outside, and midnight blue within. And allow the midnight blue to become Madonna blue. And she is protected within that silver bell, safe. And place the silver bell within a pyramid of light. And inside the pyramid is an amethyst color and gold on the outside. And place the whole pyramid within the faint lemon yellow light. So once again, let's put Drew inside the circle, equilateral cross from the top of her head, vertically going down to the bottom of her feet, back to the heart, horizontally left and right, coming back to the heart and back to the crown center. And all of this, including the bell and the pyramid and the light, will all be put into her heart center, and the circle of light will surround her and keep her safe. So now we have to return back to ourselves. And wash our hands in the bowl of crystal salt water up to our elbows. Cleansing, cleansing. And step inside the crystal waterfall. Little glints of rainbow coming down and washing you clean, bringing you back to who you are. And start from the crown of your head with the candlelight going down to the bottom of your feet, back up to your heart center, horizontal left and right, back to the heart, and back up to your crown center, and a circle of light to be within, going all around, bottom of your feet, and back up to your head. Let's calm our own breathing and refocus. And this time we're going to focus on Denise. And let's take the rose on the breath into her heart center. Allow the fragrance to travel throughout her body, calming. And imagine a blue sky. And she's lying on a grass beneath this wonderful blue sky. Relaxing. Arms stretched out, ready to receive the sunlight. And let's start with the candle light at the top of her head, going down to the bottom of her feet, and back up to her heart center, and horizontally left and right, to the end of her fingertips and back. Go up to her crown center, and fill the circle as you make it with this very faint lemon yellow going all the way around below her feet, circling around beyond her hands, coming up to her head. And now the light of the lemon, pale, pale lemon, to fill every center in her body with the light. She's glowing as she's lying there. So let's come back to her body and place our hands on her solar plexus. And Denise, I want you to do the same. So we're going to put the warmth of our hands emanating from the center of our palms, a very gentle, soft blue. And we're going to do a mini circle of the equilateral cross and a circle of light over her solar plexus. Let's move up to her throat center and do the same thing. Very, very gentle sapphire blue within the circle of the equilateral cross of light. We're going to breathe in the sky blue and relax. And breathe in the sky blue and relax. Breathe in and relax. Let's move our attention to her third eye, which is on the forehead. And let's do the mini sign of the cross and circle of light there. And we want to put a very delicate lavender there within the circle of light. And allow it to change to the rose within the circle of the cross. And the petals are opening up. And within the center of the rose is a light. And allow this light to travel down vertically to her heart center. And let it warm her heart center. Have the rose open up within her heart center. And it's singing with joy. Move the rose now down to her sacral center. Once again, allow it to open slowly. And within the center is a light, crystal. full of joy. So once again, let's go to her crown and do the equilateral cross, going down her body to her feet and back up to her heart center and horizontally out either side, past her fingers, back to the rose in the heart, back up to the crown, and create a circle of light all the way around her whole body, below her feet, and back up to her head. May love and peace and harmony be with you, Denise. Bless you. Now let's come back to ourselves, center ourselves, and wash your hands in the crystal salt water. From the elbows down, and fill them with light. Once again, step into the waterfall of crystal light with many rainbows, clearing, purifying, nurturing your whole being. Come to the crown center and take your little candle crystal of light going down vertically to the bottom of your feet and back up to the heart center, going out horizontally left and right beyond your fingers, and come back to the heart center and go back up to your crown center and surround your whole body with this candle crystal light all the way around, below your feet and coming back around beyond your fingers and up to the top of your head. And let's be in that light. So let's come to Yvonne, and she has a COVID experience. So I would like to do the web of light. But before we do that, imagine you have your hands and you start at the top of her head, and we're going to move and cleanse the aura. Come to the center of her body and sweep outwards gently, going down, all the way down to her feet. And let's put one hand at the top of her head and one hand the bottom of her feet. And we're going to imagine the pink of that rose and the fragrance, the energetic aspect of the rose is coming down her body from one of your hands through her head all the way down to below her feet. Let's hold that. And let's imagine there are strands of energy, strands of the pink, very fine, going down between your hands, between her body. And allow it to change to spring green. And see it purifying her whole body, even her aura. Allow it to expand the strands, many strands. She's within it. It's like a cylinder of strands of light surrounding her. Healing, cleansing. Let that happening for a bit. Now let's go to sapphire blue. And we want to see her in these strands of sapphire blue. And see them also being next to each other with crystal light. Now spread it like a cylinder, getting wider and wider that she's in, and fill it with the strands of amethyst. And this will strengthen her aura. And let's change it to just energy that will strengthen her and build up her mitochondria within this cylinder. And all the energy that's within there that's purifying her, let's see it go all the way down through her body like a waterfall to the bottom of her feet into a bowl of green crystal water. And she is free of all toxins. It's all going in there. We're sweeping gently, slowly down all the strands, are healing, repairing, and going into this bowl of crystal green water. Then allow it to tip over and be given to Mother Earth. And Mother Earth will then send back strength, nurturing, back up her body, into her body, into every corner, and be refreshed. Go to the crown center and let's do the sign of the cross of light, going down first to the bottom of her feet, vertically, back to the heart center and out horizontally in both directions, beyond her fingers. Come back to the heart center and go up to the crown of her head and do a circle of light, light of protection, going all the way around to the top of her head. And this time, let's place the rose there and allow it to open slowly. And it's holding a crystal light within that I'd like to drop down into her heart center and is there always. Yvonne, may love and peace, harmony be with you. Bless you. So let's return to our own bodies, our own space, and wash our hands in the bowl of crystal salt water up to our elbows. And return to the water full of crystal light and little rainbows, cleansing, purifying, uplifting, restoring, centering who you are from above, within, and below in your physical, who you are on earth. So this time, let's help Verbi. I want to, for us to do a web of light. But you know how we usually start with the larger circle of light? I want to start and do little ones on her center. The top of her head, do a little sign of the cross and circle of light. And go to her pineal gland on her forehead, sign of the cross and circle of light. Go down to her throat center, sign of the cross and circle of light. Heart center, sign of the cross and circle of light. Solar plexus, sign of the cross and circle of light. Sacral center, sign of the cross and circle of light. Base center, sign of the cross and circle of light. Her knees, sign of the cross and circle of light. Below her feet, sign of the cross and circle of light. And let's travel all the way back up to the top of her head. And let's place a rose there and allow it to slowly open and blossom and fill with golden leaves and a crystal of light in the center. And let's do the same on her forehead. Allow the rose to open, and within are golden petals with a crystal light. Let's come to her throat. Allow the rose to open with golden petals and a crystal of light. Come to her heart and allow the rose to open with golden petals and a crystal of light. Her solar plexus, open the rose, revealing the golden petals with a crystal of light. Her sacral center, place a rose that opens slowly, gently, revealing crystal in the center of the golden petals. Come to her base center and allow the rose to open, revealing the golden petals with a crystal of light. And go to the bottom of her feet and allow the rose to slowly open, revealing the golden petals with the crystal of light. Now come to the crown center and surround her with this crystal candle light all the way around the bottom of her feet, all the way out beyond her fingers and back to the top of her head. And fill that circle with pink and golden light. And place Virpi in this orb of golden pink light. And within the orb, place a very gentle sapphire blue. Bringing peace and love and harmony and balance. Bless you, Virpi. So let's come back to ourselves once again. Wash our hands in the crystal salt water from the elbows down. And stand again under the waterfall of crystal light and little rainbows. Cleansing, restoring, strengthening, relaxing. Once again, place yourself within the light of the equilateral cross of light, vertically going from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and back to the heart center, horizontally either direction beyond your fingers. When you come back to the heart center, place this rose that slowly opens, revealing the golden petals and the crystal of light. And allow it to close and get smaller and smaller, and keep it inside your heart. And let's go back up to the crown center and create a circle of light to be within. And may peace and love and harmony be with us all. Thank you. And in your own time, come back to your room and back to the stream, and open your eyes when you're ready. Good evening, Charles Littledale. Francine, I think it was very beautiful. Thank everybody for being here. And have a peaceful week. And thank you, Ruby. One thing you could do, now that you're pondering about the importance of our senses being little doorways to contact our higher intuition and soul, and then to bring it back with its messages and guide us to live a peaceful life. You can do little exercises. You could open your window, sit next to it, and see what you hear. See what it tells you. See what emotions come up and release them. And you can do that with every sense. You're most welcome, Drew. Well, Julie, there's a lot to learn about them. I mean, I have, so if you're going to work with, hang on a minute, I'll get my piece of paper. Right. You've got, there it is. So touch, you can go on a nature walk, pick up an object and hold it in your hand, and try not to name it, but see what it tells you, and maybe keep a record of these things. So sight, you can look out across the field or somewhere and see what you see, but allow it to come to your body and feel the sight of, maybe pick one thing out and see how you can tune into it, because everything has a vibration, and you can do the same with taste, but unprocessed food. And see if you can sense how close, say, that apple is to have been picked. And you can sense where it came from. The Aborigines can tell in the middle of a field whether someone had picked everything or whether something is needed to be there. But these are normal things that we can get involved with, but we get so into, the senses of stimulation and things from an outward way, without realizing that you might be closing the doorway to the holistic aspect of who you really are and your creativity. And because, as I said last week, we have this new renaissance that we're living in since the nuclear awareness hit the planet, that we think about energy now. We think about your own self-empowerment. Instead of being selfish, you're actually needing to focus on yourself so that you're holistic, and then you can give more, because we're here to be of service and to ourselves to begin with. And there's so much our wonderful senses are doing for us that we have no idea. This whole filter situation, as I said earlier, there's 2 million impressions coming at us from all levels, subtly and physically, and if you can't digest all of that, and you don't need to. Imagine how many impressions are going through your body just to make this body run. And you don't need to know all of it. You just need to have your mind there and your heart taking care of everything and doing the best you can and reducing the anxiety and stress, and doing some of this protection, doing the sign of the cross, the circle, all the time, putting yourself in the silver bell of dark blue with the golden pyramid and the light around you. You need at the beginning to start using tools so that you balance your sensitivity, especially right now. There's so much flying around of fear and panic. That's why I'm here, to help you get you to be you and control it and not absorb it, and be within your own peace and love. So on that note, I'm going to say goodnight. It's been wonderful, and have a good week, and I will see you next week. And I love you loads. See you. Be pink.